Tomorrow marks 6 years since the disappearance of Jennifer Dulos, a mother of 5 from New York and niece of fashion designer Liz Claiborne. Dulos was in the midst of a divorce from her husband, Fotis Dulos, when she disappeared and was never seen again.
Investigators quickly turned their attention to her husband, who died by suicide just before he was set to stand trial. The woman he was having an affair with was convicted of conspiracy to commit murder. In the new book, Murder in the Dollhouse, is Jennifer Dulos' story. Author Rich Cohen reveals new details about the case. He also spoke to hundreds of people to learn more about Jennifer.
And Rich joins us now. Good morning, Rich.
Good morning.
Hey, Rich.
So, Rich, what was it about this case specifically that interested you?
Well, I live, first of all, very near where this happened, so I approached it, first of all, as a parent. But it touched on this primal fear, especially of so many of my women friends, that they had this bad relationship from the past. She was in the middle of a very contentious divorce, and the tension builds up, and one day she opens her garage. She moved out with her kids, and he's waiting there for her, and she's never seen again. And it's also the eruption of extreme violence in the middle of the most mundane thing of a parent's life. And I think it's just the sort of thing that you realize you don't really know what's going on in other people's houses, because these were the most privileged, best looking, most educated, lived in a 10,000 square foot mansion, Ivy League educated, and from the outside it was a perfect world. It was a dollhouse, which Jennifer collected when she was a girl, but inside it's a far different story.
Are there lingering questions about this case? You have the husband who committed suicide, his girlfriend is in prison. Is there an accomplice? Was the body ever retrieved?
Well, the big mystery, if you want to call it that, is her body's still never been found. And it's amazing that they were able to bring a murder charge without a body, because that's usually very hard to do, because the big nightmare is you put someone on death row and the victim 10 years later shows up alive. But the evidence was so overwhelming. There was so much blood they found in the garage, nobody could have survived it. But there is questions about, did somebody else come and help Fotis Dulos hide the body? Where is the body? And just how much did the paramour, Michelle Troconis, know about what was going on? And there's still another accomplice, Kent Mawhinney, who's still waiting to be held on trial.
I thought it was curious that the defense tried to use kind of this Gone Girl, kind of an eye-rolling defense almost, in terms of like, oh, she left on her own accord, and so talk to us a little bit about how they framed this, because she was writing a novel, and how was that novel discovered, and what was the novel about?
Well, so this is like a great mystery in the case. She was writing a novel which the defense said was similar to the book Gone Girl, and it was a map of what she was going to do, which is she was going to frame her husband for her murder and disappear. Now, of course, this is I think ludicrous, and also it adds insult to injury, because it suggests she would abandon her 5 little children, and her mother, which is impossible to believe if you know anything about what she was like as a person. But it was a possible defense, and actually one of the things I found out is the novel actually does exist. It does have a plot like this, and I know somebody who's actually read it, but there's so much about this case which is sort of secret and which is still to be revealed, that it just is like a puzzle that you can't quite solve.
I know Connecticut has been passing some legislation for domestic violence. What did they do there?
Well, it was very important for me. I will say that I sort of looked at a lot of true crime, and in true crime, the victim, often a woman, gets turned into kind of a prop or just a picture in a crime scene. So I wanted to really get to know Jennifer. This book's, I thought, something new, which would be a true crime book about life instead of death, that puts the victim at the center of it. And that's how a lot of people felt around here, because she was prized. She was a very brilliant person. So the result of this was a law, which you're referring to, which was passed here, called Jennifer's Law, which means just because somebody's not physically abused doesn't mean they're abused in a way that points to ultimate danger. And one of the mysteries of the thing is Fotis Dulos never was violent with Jennifer. And the reason she fled is one day he bought a gun and showed it to her, which was a threat. So the idea is there's coercive kind of behavior that could be a precursor to violence that should be taken just as seriously as physical violence.
Interesting.
The book is The Murder in the Dollhouse, the Jennifer Dulos story. You can catch Rich at the bookstall in Winnetka on June 10th. For more information, visit his site or follow him on social media. Rich, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thanks, Rich.
Thanks a lot.